What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MakeTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm doing a review of Children of October 7th. Or The Children of October. Is there a the? I should have checked. The Children of October 7th. We're going with that. It's on Paramount Plus. It's a documentary. And it's a documentary short because it's not over an hour. It's at max it is an hour. I think it's under an hour. It's basically and it has audio description. That's the important thing. That's why I'm reviewing it. Plus, it's also important for us to continue to talk about things like this for multiple reasons. One of my favorite documentaries last year was We Will Dance Again, which I had up top, right up there with like The Commandant's Shadow and some other documentaries that I really loved. And that was Paramount Plus, and it had audio description. And I thought that was incredibly powerful, and I was trying to always recommend that to anybody who hadn't seen it yet. This is not quite that, but it is harrowing. It just doesn't have the length behind it and the brevity. So it doesn't have, because it's a short, it kind of almost feels like an extended news segment. Like if you were to be watching 60 Minutes, it kind of feels like the segment that just went on for too long, or a segment that was meant for 60 minutes, but then they couldn't cut it down, so then they released it as its own thing. Tonight on 2020, we talked to the children of October 7th. I'm going to keep wanting to say September 7th because of the movie from last year, so if I say it again, I'm sorry, but I know what date I'm talking about. So obviously this has a lot to do with the Hamas attack in Israel, and families and how they went through homes and took people from their homes, shot some people in their homes, and these children that were left sort of without their family members. And it interviews them and how they survived that day. At least one of the kids that was interviewed for this was somebody who was kidnapped and taken and held in captivity for I believe it was like 55 days before his release. So, and he was released as part of one of the ceasefire treaties back to his mom, who I think his parents live separately. There are a couple different kids that the film talks to, and they tell their stories about what it was like that day. And watching, some of their family members die sort of at the immediate incursion, and then also as a result of being captured by Hamas and then, I guess, killed while they were in captivity. I don't know how else to say it, as a hostage by Hamas. So it is, it's as effective as it can be for the length that it's given. It's just something that you want more of. Like if I was to do a feature-length documentary, obviously these kids would talk more about what their lives were like before that day, so that we could get an idea of what their family was like before, the kinds of things they like to do, what was their neighborhood like, how the day was interrupted. There's a way to make this a feature-length movie and to bring people more into the story, but it really just wants to focus on what was that day like, and how tell us what happened, tell us where you are now, and then moves on to the next kid. It's very narrow, so it's not going to be quite as emotionally impactful, because it does kind of feel like it doesn't have the time to expand upon too much. It is still, a hard watch because of the subject matter and what you're listening to, and the fact that it all really happened, and that the war is still ongoing, and everything that, like I said, everything that we should still be talking about regarding this movie. But it opens up thoughts about just in general uh, war and kids and what kids go through with war. That's why it chooses The Children of October 7th. And part of my hesitation is I think this is a good film, but at the same time, I notice that anytime anybody says anything about what about the children of Palestine, it's also like immediately somebody goes, well, that's anti-Semitic. You're anti-Israel. I'm like, no, I just go, what about the children of? I don't think that. I'm also worried about the children of Ukraine. I'm worried about children really anywhere. We used to be worried about like child soldiers in Africa. Like, I mean, that's part of the thing is it's like if you can't be at least worried about the children of a place, then what are we doing? So, but there's a really weird thing where even if you talk about like maybe we shouldn't bomb the children of Palestine, people just go, you're one of those. And it's like, one of what? People who don't, who think we shouldn't be killing off the children. I mean, because there probably could be an alternate documentary of this that's the children of Palestine talking about the things that they've seen. And I why? Like, why are we doing this? It's all about how war affects children and changes them forever. And the things that they see, they can never unsee. And the family members they've lost, they will never come back. And that's true for so many things. And the reactions that we have to these things often have greater consequences, like 9/11 and blaming every single Muslim for 9/11 instead of just a specific terrorist cell. It's kind of what we're doing here. Hamas is responsible, not, the 5 to 10 to 15-year-old Palestinian children, whatever, that keep dying in random attacks. So there has to be a better way to do it. There has to be a better way to respond, which is not, well, you killed our kids, so we'll kill your kids. That's what I thought about while thinking about a film about the children of something is whenever we have these things, they're always the children of, World War II, the children of. There's a reason why the Diary of Anne Frank is so heartbreaking because it's a diary written by a kid, not a diary written by like, some 82-year-old guy, like, well, I'm close to death myself. No, it's effective because it's from a child and that child didn't make it out of a concentration camp. So that's why it's always worked. And there's just something about the way that we have completely dehumanized the conversation around the children of Palestine that you couldn't make this documentary about the children of Palestine. And that bothers me. And it's very odd. It's odd to say that because like no other land has so much backlash against it. And some of the stuff that it points out is just wrong, regardless of where it is or who's doing it. Some of the stuff is just wrong. So if you're thinking about this documentary and these stories that are being told, think about the fact, why couldn't this be the children of Palestine talking about it? And why wouldn't anybody want that? Why would nobody air that? And I think that's an important question. I thought the audio description was pretty okay. It's mostly a talking head documentary, a little bit of footage or audio or whatever from that day, but it's mostly talking to the kids and having them go back through their homes from that day and like pointing out things like a memorial. I checked the voice. I don't know the narrator's name. It's the same guy who currently does 911 on ABC. I recognize that right away. So it's the same narrator for that. Yeah, I mean, it's competently narrated and it's under an hour, and I think you should watch it because we have to be reminded of these things. But the side effect of that is when you're reminding me about the children of Israel, I was also thinking, yeah, there's also kids in Palestine too, but we don't get a documentary about them because nobody wants to talk about them. Because if we talk about them, then it makes it harder to see those numbers rise in those attacks. So, food for thought. Anyway, I absolutely do support, you know, the ending of the war and uh, you know, the eradication of Hamas, but Hamas specifically, not of the Palestinian people, all the way down to, you know, children and infants. I think that's extreme. Uh, there's a word for that. So that's what I got. It's a short movie, and this is a short review. So I don't have a reason to not grade this anything other than an A, except for the fact that I think it would have worked better as a feature, just because I would have fleshed out the stories a little bit more and shown a little bit more of the people who, and had them talk a little bit more about like what these people were like who are no longer here anymore. It's just more emotionally impactful. Like I said, the way that it's edited almost just feels like it was originally made for like 20 or 60 minutes, but it ran too long. So they were like, well, let's release it as its own thing. It's not quite structured in the way, even as a documentary short, there's a different sort of structure to it where you would tell more of a story than I think this does. It really just kind of hits you like right off the bat. There's no real build into it or anything like that. It doesn't really explain itself. It's just kind of like, we're here. So I guess I'll go with an A-, just because my only complaint is really that I think it would worked better as a feature. And We Will Dance Again, which was released last year, was way more effective and had like footage from the incident that was just harrowing to fucking sit and listen to. Just fucking heartbreaking. So if you haven't seen We Will Dance Again, it should still be on Paramount Plus. Please watch that. It'll change your life. It's one of those documentaries. It's like sitting through 20 Days of Mariupol. But that's it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hopefully you click like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the other side.